Okay, I'm hoping this will be take 2 and see if we get the people back in the room. Okay, joining in. Hopefully we get people back in here soon. Brums, hello, hello, hello. That's frustrating. Anyway, yeah, we're still having trouble with the connection a little bit, but we're going to try to keep going. So, hello to Brum and welcome back. We could put it on Wi-Fi, but I think our internet is slower than Verizon. It's horrible, so I don't think that'll help. But next week it will, hopefully. By the way, guys, so if we could bear with us through this week on our slow connection, next week we should have a better connection because we're getting new internet starting tomorrow. So, yeah, and it's actually my Verizon. This is through my cell phone, so it's actually my Verizon that's acting up, which is weird because it's usually running just fine. So I'm not sure exactly what's going on with Verizon tonight, but hopefully it seems to be working a little better, and maybe it'll stop buffering a little bit now with the... We'll have to see. So welcome back, you guys. So we got most of you. Oh, good. Lois Ann, it's still acting up. Well, we'll go through the Sumac and see how far we get. So yeah, I do apologize for the buffering. I don't know what's with Verizon tonight. But yeah, our herb of the week talk tonight is Sumac. So if you guys want to pull up the link below to our webpage, our blog, it will have the herb of the week listed there. And I am just going to, so that we can see that along with it. Okay. So passes the sumac and lemonade, or you can make sumacade from sumac. But anyway, there's a lot of different types of sumac, and I just want to go through that. All the edible ones have the red berries. The white berries is the poison sumac. So obviously you want to be able to tell the difference on that.
Poison sumac behaves like poison ivy.
Yes. Poison. In fact, it's actually the same thing that people are allergic to in poison ivy is also in poison sumac and in poison oak. Those three, and they're not actually in the same phyla as the sumac is. They're actually a different group. But poison sumac does kind of look like regular sumac. It does not grow in big clumps like regular sumac does.
For those of you who grow in Michigan,
it actually does. I found that out, but only southern. In wet areas.
Yeah, it's generally a southern.
It's more in the south.
So it's pretty rare to come across. At least it's very limited or rare to come across it in our region. And
my parents live in a very wet woodsy area, and they don't have any of either sumac.
I don't know if I've ever seen it.
Yeah, I did. It did look like it was growing in the area, but it's not much.
We see the other types of edible sumac is very abundant in this area.
The ones that we have the most of are staghorn sumac, which is all over the east half of the country and the continent, I guess, up into Canada as well. We also have smooth sumac in the area, and smooth sumac. The staghorn has that like fuzzy berry
that's the one you see growing along the highways a lot of times. Yeah, and they get 10, 15, 20 feet tall sometimes.
And smooth sumac has like red berries also, but it's like smooth berries. So they look a lot more like berries than the staghorn does. So those are the two in our area. I know there's a lot of other types, but those are actually the two that we have on property here. And I took a picture of one of them not last summer, the summer before, that I used on the website. If life gives you sumac, make pink lemonade. Basically, correct. Although it's malic acid and not citric acid that you're actually making, taking off the sumac berries. Still here. Who has a joke? Are we Do we have everybody back? I don't think we have Food Forest back, unless they're invisible. And Discovery is back. Oh, good. So there are a lot of different types of sumac growing all over the world. I have some of the species in the Americas listed on here, but we don't more than that growing in various parts. And they do grow all around the area. And so there's a lot of different things. Some people, by the way, are allergic to sumac, but it's because it's in the same family as mango and cashews. And those who are allergic to cashews and mango might also be allergic to sumac. So something to note if one of those allergies exists.
Cashews, by the way, have a very nice fruit that's about this big.
And that's edible
that
too.
We basically never see that. It's very perishable. You can get it frozen. I found it frozen once. Some of the Spanish stores, but pull off the one little seed that kind of hangs from the bottom, and that is the cashew per fruit that I would say is the size of like a very small pear or a very, very small mango.
Yeah.
So they're limited, but the fruit's kind of interesting.
Yeah, I did kind of see notes and mentions of the cashew fruit as well, but that's not our topic today so much.
Does not grow around here and will not grow around
here.
No,
it's tropical. Anyway, do you guys everybody have audio here? Anyone else have audio?
Send all the display computers to your playlist. That's...
Okay. Yeah, right.
We've never tried gaming the system.
That's too funny. That is a finite.
I'm in Costco like 2 to 3 times a week for different stuff. They don't have that many, but they got enough, I guess.
They have a handful of, there you go. That could boost the watch time. What I need is actually subs. Our watch time is hovering just above the threshold, so we do need the watch time too, but to keep us in that range, but we need subs. So those of you guys don't know, in order to keep things earning monetization for the small channels, they have to get to 1,000 hours of view in the last year. So that's kind of what we're joking about if you haven't heard that. Okay, so you guys do have audio there, so that's good. But so that's Finite World's joke about turning all the display computers to your channel's playlist, so it's running through all your videos, so you get the watch time.
We had a channel watch 150 videos last week.
Yeah. Oh, I think Neil's, and they were commenting on a lot of them.
We were shocked.
Went through 150 of our videos. I was like, we have a playlist for all of last year where we have 152 videos. I don't think she quite got through all of, or he, I'm not sure who over there, quite got through all of them. I think they got through 130 some though. It's crazy. I just watched the video before coming here. She said a dozen of them?
Yeah, the 5-minute video on the...
Oh, cool. Yeah.
At the store. That's funny.
That's too funny. That's funny. It's a good idea, though. Hey, who knows? And some people might go look you up afterwards, too, for that matter. But anyway, back to the sumac. Yes, sumac aid, sumac lemonade, whatever you want to call it, is basically when you take the berries of that sumac, either the staghorn or the smooth you can use as well. You want to get it when they just ripen and haven't been rained on recently, because really what you're actually taking from that is the coating. The malic acid coats the berries, and if you take that and you put it in cold water, it'll get the malic acid off of those berries, and it'll make something that tastes a lot like lemonade, and it'll be kind of pinkish color too. I have seen some people say that they crush the berries and then soak them, and that could work as well. I don't know if it's necessary, because I know on our smooth sumac, which we have the most of,
you just soak it usually.
You just soak it because
I think the flavor's on the exterior.
And you can actually see it on the smooth sumac because it has this like filmy coating on the outside of it, and you can just take your finger and take it off, and if you lick your finger, you could taste that malic acid.
Bram says he's going to tan with the leaves.
Yes.
Which is definitely a possibility.
Yeah, I did see some other uses. I didn't see tanning. I did see smoking. I did see basket weaving. Of course, using them as hedges because they turn bright orange in the fall. So the leaves are really pretty, but they are they spread very easily.
They're invasive. They grow aggressively. Yeah. We all kind of know that. So malic acid is interesting. So malic acid, if you think of a tart green apple like a Granny Smith, that is the flavor of malic acid. So it's different from citric acid. It's quite strong. You find it in some wine also.
Well, it's in grapes.
Yes.
Malic acid is also in grapes.
So that's the Chardonnay and other things. So when you have the really sour, tart, crisp Chardonnay wines that are, say, in a stainless steel barrel, that's your malic acid. Now, it's the famous process that happens when you put it in wood, or malic acid is converted to lactic acid. It's the malolactic process. And so that happens naturally because the lactobacillus is in the wood. So all red wines that are barrel aged and all white wines that are barrel aged, and that's where you get that smooth, buttery, pear, apple richness of like a California Chardonnay. That's that.
You want a food science lesson?
Malic to lactic. So
which is kind of interesting because lactic acid is what builds up in your muscles and makes you sore when you exercise.
It's sour, but it's got a creamy, smooth flavor to it. So.
Well, I've never tasted lactic acid from mussels, but I'm guessing it's the same thing.
It's got to be the same.
Yeah. But the funny thing is, I did see something where they were one small. Was like really small, and I don't think it had a very decent outcome. But they were trying to see if it might actually help reduce muscle soreness as people exercise. It can't be the malic acid they were using though, because that just doesn't seem to make sense on that process. But anyway, to go through it, you can make wine from sumac. You can make jelly from sumac. You can use it as a glaze on meat, and that's all from the sumac
sour
juice.
Components.
Yeah, the sumac aid that you make. You can also eat the shoots of sumac. I don't know if you knew that. You peel the bark off because the bark has a ton of tannins in it, so you don't really want to eat that. But so you can peel the bark off and eat that. And from what I read, it tastes...
The question is, you can eat it, you're going to like it. That we haven't figured out.
Well, apparently this guy really liked it. It was in one of my books, which I do list all the books I use for the resources.
You can eat 90% of stuff, but...
He said it was very good.
Only 20% of it's actually want to eat it unless you're dying.
He said it was very good and that he was just enjoying it. And you can eat the new, new growth as well. So it's something I want to try. So either the new shoots coming out of the ground because it spreads through a root system and then it sends up new shoots nearby, which is why it's so invasive. But he said that they would mow that near the railroad before they started spraying things, and by midsummer, new shoots would be coming right out of that, and they would pick it, peel it, and so that was one thing that I didn't know about. And then, of course, the berries and the leaves are used to flavor meat in the Middle East. I want to say it's the berries, dried and crushed, that they use for za'atar, which is Middle Eastern seasoning that usually includes thyme or oregano and sumac.
Imhai just showed up. Regularly visiting.
Imhai, hello. Mm-hmm. So welcome. So we're definitely going
through sumac as a flavor, as a souring flavor, as an herb seasoning, not in a drink, but to season meat or vegetables, is a classic direction, usually to either Middle Eastern or North African cuisine. Mm-hmm. It can be used in other things. It's become a little more popular in American cuisines. I like to use it. I've been using it off and on for years. I just think it's got a really nice blend of earthy and a little sour, and it's a wide variety depending on who's making it, what they put in there. But I think it's great. A little rub for barbecue if you want something different.
Yeah, definitely. And by Hi Prepping Ohio, welcome.
What are they prepping Ohio for?
I have people from all over. YB Family Farm is here. I don't think I said hi to you guys. Hello. So getting more and more people in here. So as far as going back to sumac, culinary uses, there's actually quite a few. The leaves and the bark have a lot of tannins in it, though, and that can get quite bitter. So you do want to watch that part. And again, those who are allergic to cashews or mangoes might want to watch it because it's in the same family. But any of the red berries you can use. In fact, I think out west there's another common sumac that is actually called squaw bush that's around the area. So anyone from west of the Rockies or in the Rockies, I think that's more common there. But as far as traditional medicines, they were talking about the tannins. So making tea out of the bark or the leaves and use it to treat diarrhea or sore throats and UTIs and such. And Native Americans often use the roots and tea to make the tea. Sometimes it's used to treat poison ivy, which is kind of interesting because people are so scared. A lot of people are scared of sumacs because of the poison sumac. But it's kind of interesting that the edible sumac might actually treat, because if it treats poison ivy, it should treat poison sumac.
I'm just making an educated guess. I have no idea, but I'm
I've
guessing
not seen
that
that
either if it does work, that either the tannins or the malic acid are allowing either a neutralization or a shedding of the oils. They're interacting with the oils on the poison ivy and allowing them to be released or broken down.
Yeah.
But that's just a guess.
Yeah, I did not see any confirmation of that, but I thought it was kind of interesting that someone made note of that because the actual poison sumac people are allergic to the same substance in that compared to, and poison sumac is not actually sumac is the funny thing. But so
poison oak isn't oak either.
That's true. And poison ivy is kind of an ivy.
Yeah.
But so the warnings there is just the trying to make sure that you know the difference between poison sumac and the edible sumacs, as well as those who are allergic to cashews and stuff.
Bob showed up.
Bob Homestead, hello. As far as research goes, now this is there's a number of very preliminary studies, but it's all quite early. There's not really any human studies that I came across right away, but I did see some on staghorn sumac, which was kind of interesting because it was more used to for preventing about human use treatments. But I thought I'd put it in there so as a natural food preservative for bread.
Probably tannins and acidification again.
Yeah.
Yeast doesn't like it.
So that was kind of interesting on that one. The other things I saw, there was a Korean sumac species that they have had a number of preliminary studies on the antioxidant, anti-inflammatory, anti-cancer, anti-diabetic. Well, some of the antioxidant plays a role in those other things.
Ask Nabi I'm sure she knows about it.
Yeah, that would be interesting to ask Nabi about the Korean version.
She was 19 when she left, so it was...
Yeah, but she learned a lot from her mom. So hypotensive, so lowering blood pressure, neuroprotective. So there's some preliminary work on that. And I did see some of that neuroprotective related to Parkinson's. But again, it's all on the cellular level, but there is a call for more studies to come out. So,
poison ivy, by the way, will affect you in the winter, almost guaranteed. If it affects you through the year, the oils will stay in the ground. They will stay on the heavy root material, any of the hairy root.
Or the hairy vines.
Yep, it will absolutely. If you're cutting wood or thinning or scraping through hunting type stuff, well, the reason we feel like it does less so because we are more heavily bundled up. The leaves and the shoots fall off, so we're less likely to scrape against it.
Yeah.
But if you get into it, or
if you burn wood that has the ivy growing on it, that's not a good thing.
In fact, a really big patch, a really thick, heavily oiled patch can stay active for a period of sometimes more than a year in and around the soil. So we're just a lot less likely to get in it or be in the woods, but that oil doesn't dissipate.
Or be more, we're more protected clothing-wise in the winter in general.
You're probably better off, but be careful.
Yeah. I've pulled it by hand by accident. I try to avoid it. Find it, world. You retracted your own message? No, sorry. So I have never actually gotten poison ivy myself, whereas he can just look at it and break out. So he always
and it will
says,
stay for 7, 8, 9 days.
and he always says, "Here, Cindy, there's poison ivy out there by the apple tree. You go pull it for me, please."
Well, I can't.
No,
I could get into it when I really have to, but I can't risk being out for 9 days. It's not worth it.
No, and yeah, I just have to throw my clothes in the wash so that he doesn't touch them after I do that. But I will wear gloves while pulling it, but I've accidentally pulled it by hand at times, and so far so good. Now I do have a sister who has started reacting to it as an adult who never did as a child. So, you can develop those allergies too. Is there a sumac that's good with or AT?
Yes, all of the edibles.
Well, sumac, there's a lot more bitter. There were a couple books I was looking at that was talking about making it into tea for medicinal because of the tannins. But as far as taking the berries, and most people would put them in cold water and steep them in cold water because really you're just washing off that malic acid to make yourself a lemonade-like drink. But
you can buy semi-cleaned or more refined sumac probably if you go to an Indian spice store. Definitely a North African store, which is hard to come by in most areas. But when you get the za'atar as a pre-blend, some of the more diverse spice stores will actually sell you a sumac powder. I don't know if they're rubbing it off or it's whole berries, but you can buy that as its own item. I'm sure you can find it online. That you can make in your own spice blends, or you can make it into a tea. But like you said, I don't think I would steep it a tremendously long period of time. You will get a nice souring effect from it.
Yeah, so. But the so most of the time I probably, there are places that make it into a hot tea as well, but you really have to watch how long you steep it. And as far as going back to prepping Ohio's question, he was talking about getting poison ivy as a kid, but haven't had it for 30 years. Yeah, sometimes I think if you're exposed to it enough, you actually stop reacting.
But one way or the other, it either goes away or it gets terrible.
Yeah, I think so. Although you can watch our Daryl Patton video from the Homesteaders of America conference. And I don't recommend that process.
he eats it in selective ways.
Yes.
As an inoculant. If you go back, I think that's a 30 to 40 minute video from the Homesteaders conference in the end of the summer or early fall. That's a really neat foraging thing. So it's actually, he's amazing.
He's great.
And that he let us video that.
And he's going to be at the Homesteaders of America.
I would go cruise through that, just the poison ivy little tidbit, and he actually eats a piece of poison ivy there. And
right in front of us.
And he was highly allergic to poison ivy.
Yeah.
So I would go to watch that, not for the poison ivy, for everything else.
Yeah.
And that took place in Tennessee. So.
No, that was in
Virginia. I'm sorry, Virginia. He's from more in the south, so that's foraging in a different region from what we would be regularly in.
No, but it was a lot of similar stuff there. So they had a different type of sumac there, and I forget what type they did.
Dogs bringing poison ivy onto you is super common, especially dogs that get run around into the woods or hunting dogs. Super common, because even if they would react, their fur is so heavy in their oils, it doesn't get down to their skin. But then they rub it on you or you pet them.
And those oils,
super common.
Yeah. Anyway. So, you got to watch it with animals, especially with indoor-outdoor animals that go through the woods. And thank you, Finite World, for posting the Daryl Patton video. It is really interesting. And for those of you who have availability in the fall, he will be back at Homesteaders of America Conference again next fall. It's going to be a 2-day conference.
He was a little less known by some people, although he's really, really well known by foragers. His segment was as informative and as good as anybody else's segment there. So,
so he did a talk last year and he did a short forage.
30, 40 minutes.
I would say around 30 minutes.
By 30 items. Now, he sort of pre-walked that area.
Yeah.
And we went down a hill into a wet area, so he had a nice, diverse, changing environment of plants. But that's how intensely he can go look at an area.
One thing that I know a lot of foragers and people talk about as far as treating poison ivy is jewelweed, and it doesn't always grow next to poison ivy, but it grows in similar areas. So a lot of times you will find it nearby. But that is one thing that some people use to help with poison ivy, but again, you have to catch it right away. I have a family member who actually was involved in making dial, and the yellow dial with yellow
the yellow dial and the felt snappa was the old classic for
Yeah. It's actually not a family. It's a family friend, I guess, almost family member, who was making that. He was a chemist who was in, and that works well at cutting the oils too. But anyway, so
yeah, I mean we've pretty much covered poison ivy in the past. The one thing I will tell you, the studies show, regardless of what type of soap, there are some stronger soaps, the felt snappa and the different rubbing things, but the actual process of within 3 hours or less, aggressively rubbing with or without soap, but using like a washcloth and scraping not so the skin comes off, but
rubbing it, scrubbing
will remove
most of that oil,
almost all of it every time, regardless of what else you do. That is the most important thing. Obviously use a light detergent with it, and the closer you do it the better, but usually you have about 3 hours before you get a reaction and it gets into your skin. So if you can do that, even you're pretty much good, which means define your time, get in from doing your work, and your limbs and between fingers and face and sensitive skin. If you do that, you are highly likely that you're going to be all right, even if you're pretty in it.
Darn allergic to it.
So too.
So I'm trying to see if I missed anything.
Anything else on the Sumac? Back to that.
I'm trying to look at some of the other researches here. So the tannins, they were talking about the tannins reversing some of the toxic effects of BPA and things, but there really wasn't a whole lot there.
There are some skin sprays and soaps that neutralize and cut the oil that you can assist in that.
Yeah, and some of those skin sprays actually use some jewelweed extract, I've seen. Yeah.
So that's a good add-on, but the cheap-free scrubbing is as effective. But add whatever layers of needed if it's severe.
Thank you, Princess, and welcome. Princess Banu? Where are you from? That would be fun. So, Bobblehead, hello. Haven't seen any poison ivy yet.
Well, you're lucky. Good. It'll show up. Well, you're lucky.
Yeah, just watch out any hairy vines, since you're cutting down a lot of stuff on your
pine forest area is ideal, that's for sure. But
he's not in pine forest.
Well, then that's one good thing.
Well, although you do have some pines.
Blue Dawn, because Dawn has a real good grease cut. So any of those.
Yeah, it's really just scrubbing the oil off and
breaking that oil off your skin. Yeah.
Jewelweed will help. Some things will help break up the oils. That's the point of some of that. And for those of you guys who don't know, some of the small channels in here, Coco, Noelle, I don't know how big Finite World is, I forget. Bobblehead, you guys go check each other out as well, because we're all trying to race for that 1,000 subscriber mark. So just a FYI. And hello, Wendy. Welcome. So it is kind of funny that we get back to the topic of poison ivy whenever we're going through some of this, but I'm trying to catch up on some of the comments here. Okay, so yeah, I would say Bobblehead Homestead, Jeff, if you're cutting down some of that brush and trees, if you have any hairy vines, I wouldn't touch that if you're allergic to poison ivy.
That's a good start.
Hairy vines are oftentimes poison ivy. So you got to watch those.
There's a few other things.
If they're climbing trees, they could be other things too, but that would be one to avoid and not to burn. So, man, we're getting everybody in here now. We just wrapped up our Sumac discussion, unless people have questions.
We got
Lang Family Farms, LA in Louisiana. I learned that. Homestead. We have 2 of the top 10 in the room. 2 of the top 10 small homestead channels are in the chat room right now. So cool. Welcome, you guys. My Little Homestead. Wow. Everyone's jumped on now. So for those of you guys who just joined in, I'm going to point you down to the description box under the video, because there is a link to my website blog that is where we do our herb of the week, and I posted all the information there. We just kind of went through that, so if people have questions, definitely let me know.
Sumac for eating and Sumac for possible some light medicinals. The one thing we didn't really cover in too much detail, the the food history of sumac. So that goes back to the Middle East, North Africa, and a good number of parts of the world.
And Native Americans used it too.
And Native Americans. So what it's used in is because it's a souring agent. It makes things, it enhances things and makes them taste. Blended with a variety of things in the thyme, oregano.
1870s homestead. Hello.
And a whole, thyme, oregano, basil, marjoram, those type of resinous herbs. So those can be pretty pungent and sometimes a little too strong. So then you cut them with the sourness in your marinade or in like a barbecue rub or stews. And so that's called za'atar. And za'atar may have a variety of other things. It could have cumin. A lot of times it has sesame seeds. Could have black pepper or salt added. And just a whole variety of things. So it's a really nice seasoning. Really wakes things up. If you haven't used it and you're looking for something new, seasoned pita chips, seasoned chicken, seasoned potatoes, or flatbread. I've used it for all kinds of things just to give you something new if you're...
And now you know how to like thyme or oregano and mix it.
You can control it yourself. Yeah, it's a blend.
And you mix it with sumac.
Now, if you get a very authentic one, and it's probably not going to be from a high-end store, it's probably going to be from a local herb store or from a very ethnic, store that carries products, then you might get some of those variants because there's a lot of herbs that are not in our normal use. They're very, very secluded to certain areas. So unless they're being harvested from that area and then specially imported to a group of people that are looking for them.
Yeah.
So, some of the oreganos and marjorams, there's Greek and there's Middle Eastern. It's not exactly the same as what we always get. But you can create your own blend. I love putting the sesame seeds in because you get a little texture and that little pop of sesame. You get the sour from the sumac. Again, I think if you dig for it, you can get some sumac powder or berries that you could blend yourself if you're not buying a pre-made. I like...
or you could dry your own berries and make your own.
I like Terra Spice. Has really awesome high-quality spices, bulk. And if you buy medium amounts, they're pretty inexpensive for spices, which are expensive category. I would buy them wholesale, larger amounts, and we thought they were great. They happen to be, I think, out of South Bend, Indiana. They sell a really nice za'atar blend that I enjoy. I don't know if they sell sumac separate or not. They do a lot of their own blending, which I like, and they don't put fillers. So za'atar's great, but tried grilled meats, just you can really freshen things up. It's not offensive. It's just a new flavor profile, and then you can add your garlic and onion, all your good stuff to it as you like.
Yeah. So yeah, that 1870s homestead. Actually, for any of you guys, the sumac really grows in full sunshine for the most part, maybe on the edge of forest, but really clearings, disturbed soil,
edge of farm fields.
Yeah, or abandoned farm fields.
Highways all the time around here.
Roadsides. And they do spread very easily, but you can eat the new shoots, I learned. I did not know that one before. If you peel the bark off, you can eat the berries, or you could soak the berries and get the malic acid off of. And some people will actually, there was another thing I saw, some people would actually toast the seeds or roast the seeds and make it into a drink like coffee. That would be a roasted seed. Probably, probably the tannins and things in there, but they would roast those
seeds.
So
we actually had typically, I always remember as a kid and a Boy Scout and whatever else, we always saw it, even as you drive up into northern Michigan, it's very prevalent.
It's all the way up in northern Canada.
It's so prevalent. We had a really bad sumac year this year, which I think is rare because we had that 6 or 8 week drought. Barely got any rain, and it prevented it. We got late flowering and then very limited flowering. Rare.
It's really rare because sumac is usually really drought.
It does well every year usually.
It's drought tolerant, so I mean the plants lived and the plants are doing fine.
We just didn't get good fruiting.
Yeah,
but that's a once in I don't know how long.
Mention coffee, and now you're craving a nice hot cup. I don't drink that.
We can talk coffee.
You can talk it with him. I drink tea.
I drink tea too.
I don't like... Actually, I love the smell of coffee. I love the initial taste of coffee. I like Dannon coffee yogurt. But I can't stand the aftertaste of coffee, so...
I like it strong. I like it black, fairly dark roasted. As long as it's good quality. Yeah, I've been drinking coffee since I was very young. And pretty much black, no sugar. If it's cheap, bad coffee, I put cream in just to cut the tannins. But good coffee is just good.
Yeah. Well... I enjoy the smell of it. That's about it. So I'm trying to see if I missed any other comments.
We've picked coffee beans, green coffee beans. We've eating the fruit off of coffee beans, which tastes nothing like coffee.
Yeah.
It tastes amazing. It's fruit. I ate those.
Oh, yeah, I did eat those. So Lang Family Farms.
Yeah, red sumac lemonade's great.
Yeah, if any
or mix it in with your iced tea.
Suggestions for good gardening forum. For gardening specifically,
Joel Salatin, Justin Rhodes.
Yeah, no. You look
they're
up.
broad spectrum.
They are broad spectrum. Actually, one thing, if you like the food forest, Rose.
She's a master gardener
at Wholesome Roots. Watch her stuff. Old Alabama gardener. Watch his stuff. I believe they are both master gardeners.
God, there's almost the hard part is filtering through and finding the richest content because there's so much.
And there's so many people. It depends on style. There's so many people doing different style gardens.
We focus on French intensive, which is crowding 2, 3, 4 times as much stuff into an area. And then trying to do some 3-season, 4-season related. So those 3 topics with it is how we're focused on our growing. And then I focus on culinary, so somewhat specific and specialized things that we aren't sure if they're going to make it year to year, but we're interested in getting some different varietals because I know how to use them. Yeah. So I guess those are our 4 focuses. And then supplementing our food, we are like to achieve close to 50%. We're not there yet, but we've increased in the last 2 years since we've been on this property significantly.
50% of our food off property.
You could definitely flavor after kombucha finishes. A lot of times, you season finish with other flavors or lightly sweeten it. I would recommend adding the sumac and maybe a touch of honey or different things to your kombucha towards the back end. But there's other people. I have some reference to it, but there's other people who do more.
Your garlic is 3 to 4 inches tall
Wow,
already?
Nice.
Wow. No, I had some garlic.
Look at ours.
No, I was out there. It's not coming up yet, but I had some garlic last year that started coming up.
Started early.
No, I'm the garlic that's in the hugel culture bed. I did not check on recently, but before we hit our cold snap, we had shoots coming up already. So that was kind of interesting. We definitely had some garlic growing there. The garlic that I planted in the other area of our bed, our big bed by our hoop, that's not coming up yet.
We planted 3 or 4 sources of garlic this year. We had some that was replants or a little bit that remained in from our garlic, cloves that were broken apart. We have some seeding that we allowed, and then we had some garlic that was some small stuff from a local farm that we put in, and then there's a specialist garlic grower that sells very expensive garlic. She has about 15 types at the farmer's market, really nice stuff, but you're talking like $3 a head. So I bought 3 or 4 nice varieties, some German and some other garlics, all cold hardy grown in this region. So we bought some of those and selectively planted those to see what we would get because they have defined profiles. And so we bought the expensive stuff. We didn't eat it. We just stuck it in the ground.
Yeah, bought it to put it in the ground.
And we just bought a little bit and it got...
And here's the problem. I put it all in the ground, but I didn't label which one's which. So we'll have to see. I think I know where that went, though.
Yeah.
So, yeah. We are... No, excuse me. I planted after my... Well, you know what? Last year, I planted my garlic in my hugel culture bed in January. So that was later than both of you guys. This year we were a little earlier, although we were in that race of late planting as well.
You got one of the scobies from the meetup. I know, yeah, because I don't remember who it was. They passed out about 6 scobies. So you were one of the ones. Okay.
Yeah, cool. Yeah, and I was going to say something else about something on here, and I think I missed... my little homestead is in southwest Illinois. Cool. It's a little ways. It's a half a day drive down there, but still cold there. We're back and forth. We are definitely, we were in the 50s or 40s and 50s for 2 days, and now we're dropping down to the 20s for tomorrow. So we've
lost all the snow in the last week for sure. Yeah. I mean, even the plow piles are starting to get small.
Yeah. And thank you, Coco, for posting Old Alabama Gardener and Wholesome Roots channel.
Garlic, is best I understand, as long as you get it in.
As long as it has a cold period.
Before the ground freezes, it doesn't really matter.
No, I put it in January last year, and because we still have February and March, and we had our last frost was mid-May last year, so we still had enough cold spell that it did fine. It just needs that cold time in the ground to be able to send its shoots up. It's kind of funny because we were talking on Wholesome Roots live show the other day about garlic too.
Can never plant enough garlic. We run out every year.
Yeah,
plant more every year, and I've been out for a few weeks already. I'm working on some Spanish imported garlic, which is really tasty, but it's a little dehydrated, so I think it's got some age on it.
Yeah.
I think it was Costco, actually. It's pretty nice. Some of the cloves are huge, but I just know it's not super fresh.
Yeah, that's right. 1870s Homestead was at our house at the Justin Rhodes meetup, which is cool. That was a whole different experience.
Yep. House sort of looks the same. Yards are evolving. There's definitely changes.
We just moved our burn section.
You know,
to the middle of the yard.
Because our other one was getting mounded, and we've always wanted to center having a bonfire area a little more central, and then kind of work out in spokes our different activities. Yeah. So we've been talking about that for 2 years. But...
So we're slowly adjusting our backyard setup and slowly adjusting our front yard. I mean, this fall we planted a few chestnut trees.
Got 6 chestnuts.
2 in front, 2 back towards our woods, and 2 in our woods. So hopefully we'll get some chestnuts eventually.
Did we follow up on the guy who had all the cheap fruit starts? That was from the Van Buren permaculture site.
Okay, yeah, we need to do that.
He has fruit starts that are really cheap in April.
Yeah.
I wanted to find out what they were. I should respond.
I'm trying to see if we missed anything else here. Yeah, it's definitely back and forth. I think we've been getting a lot of snow in December these last couple of years, and then tapering off in January and February.
It's good for the bees, by the way, when you get this, because if you go too long, the bees don't come out. My understanding is when you get these warm spells, even a day or two, they come out and they basically buzz around. They go to the bathroom. And,
clean out.
You know, I don't know if they really collect much sustenance, but they get active. Yeah. And so one way seasonal is to be able to... black garlic. I have worked with black garlic a little bit. So black garlic is a specialized warmed heating fermenting process where you completely ferment it. It becomes very funky and herbaceous, sort of like a truffle, but even a little more funky. And it gets a little sweet. Mm-hmm. You can buy it. It's pretty expensive. It became very popular maybe about 10 years ago. People, I think, kind of overdid it for a while. They're putting black garlic in everything. And it's potent. So you don't need a lot, and not everybody likes it. There's some pretty methods that people have deduced for home making it or restaurant mushroom truffle type things. Use it sparingly. Appreciate it. Don't get crazy because you're overdoing it if you use it too much.
Yeah, and I'm going to say for Princess... in Louisiana, you treat it just like
it's in the same family.
Tulip bulbs, daffodil bulbs, things that need that cold spell.
Tulips are poisonous, though, by the way, I think. Elephant garlic, I think is
don't eat your tulip
elephant
bulbs.
Garlic, that really huge garlic you see that gets really sweet and is really nice for wrapping in tinfoil, a little oil and roasting. Get like garlic puree. That, I believe, is a daffodil variety. It is not a true garlic. It just tastes like it. So, but be aware there are a few of them. Don't just grab all your herbs and bulbs, treated or untreated. A few of them are poisonous, but you can look them up pretty quick to figure out. And the ones you can eat are onion.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. So,
tons of garlic chives. We were talking with Nabi, the forager. I was talking with her yesterday at the market.
Yeah,
and she had a few turkey tails that revived. She had a few winter oysters she thought might pop up this week. She had some
honey buttons.
Winter honey buttons, which are really the only mushroom that can sometimes pop up in a warm spell. She had a small pound or 2 of those. They're very fragile. And then she had a little bit of sweet Sicily, which she just got her hands on. Some winter chives.
Well, she also knows where those roots are.
Yeah, well, and she got some chives, and she got some, and then, what was the other thing?
She's our foraging leader, so if you want to watch it.
She got some ramps. Now, the ramps are this big. They're barely shooting. Muddy area. You need to know exactly where they are, and you have to go digging for them. You're literally digging them out of the ground. I worked with some just a little after this time of year last year. I'd never seen them. Nobody had provided them that young to me. They were incredible.
Okay.
Yeah, elephant garlic. So that's it's not a true garlic, but it responds the same, but it's sweeter.
And Coco, Nabi does not have her own YouTube channel. She's barely just gotten.
She just got a cell phone, a
smartphone.
Smartphone.
But for anybody who's interested in kind of Nabi stuff, I have a whole series of foraging videos. Most of them are with her leading the videos, and I've taken a 3-hour guided forage and try to cut it down to like 20 to 30 minutes.
If you ever want to put together people that are in our relative area,
yes.
that want to drive in, she does forages about once a month. They're $30 or $40.
I think they're $40.
$40 is about 3 hours of forage. They usually run late, and then you get dinner.
You
get a forage, kimchi bibimbap, and usually miso soup and fresh eggs on it. So it's vegetarian, can be vegan. It's amazing, and it takes place on their farm property and surrounding areas. It would be something that if we had 3 or 4 people that committed to a date, she's pretty busy, or one of her regular dates, we could just make an informal meetup.
Yeah, we can.
Even on a regular day, and just kind of all show up to it. Ooh. It's usually a Sunday afternoon as the weather gets better. So it's mushrooms, it's wild edibles, it's all food related.
Yeah.
It's insanely worth it. It's so much fun.
If you guys want our own time,
she would be thrilled too.
She would love, as long as
sometimes only 10 people show up, and she can do like 20 or 30. She would be absolutely thrilled to have people show up.
So yeah, if any of you guys are interested in that, she works on a farm just down the road, just west of us a little bit further. And if anyone would be interested in that next spring or summer, let us know, and we can maybe try to work out some dates. I'd like to try to get her on our property a few times too. So if anyone wanted to join us on those,
so May or June is your peak mushroom. If things cooperate, the June forage is going to be the peak mushroom. If
we get rain this year,
I think yeah.
Last year we didn't. So I think I missed. Someone said they were taking off that 1877. Good night.
Is it snowing tomorrow? I haven't really paid attention. Somebody else said something about snow.
It's supposed to be cold.
I didn't pay attention.
I don't remember seeing too much snow except until later.
I'm renovating my kitchen all week, so I'm not going that many places. So
I have to go to work, but anyway. So yeah, I mean, if anyone's interested, and the aldermans are on, so we
fiddlehead ferns you eat. There are 2 types of ferns you can eat. There are some you cannot eat, and you can only eat them in certain stages, mostly young.
Yeah, the really young ones, definitely. Yep. Okay, Discovery. Which channel to sub? Not sure. And yeah, so what I will do is run through this list of chat and make sure I'm sub to everybody on here as well. Cantaloupe. Have tried many times without much success.
Growing cantaloupe?
Growing for
we've been good and bad depending on the years.
It really does. This year we had some good melons. I mean, they're small, but we actually started growing melons.
We had some nice small watermelons. We had a few cantaloupes. We had like an 8-week drought, which really kind of slowed things down, but it still hung through most of it.
Yeah. So this year, like last year, we didn't get any like squash or melons going at all, but this year was nuts for squash and melons.
So just on somewhat of an amateur level, things that affect them are, if they're too close together, there isn't enough wind, they can be affected by mold and mildew.
Yeah. So
you got to watch that. They obviously love water. They don't have amazing soil. They love water. Some grow well on black tarping, and some of them need to be companion planted. They're male, female, and if you don't have at least 2, you will get no fruit. You'll get all kind of leaf, and that's not all melons. There are melons that have straight chains and branch chains. So there's a variety of. Melon growing is pretty specific. Our biggest, keeping them too much water, they can split
or get moldy.
They like the sun.
Okay.
We have always tried to grow, 3 or 4 or 5 or 6 varieties because we are very hit or miss. Okay. And I know other commercial farmers around here do really well. So it's probably our techniques, but we like to grow a variety that mature at different times. Honeydews behave different than cantaloupes. They're different variety, watermelons. And so grow a whole bunch of them, and the chances are you'll get something that's going to give you some melons somewhere in mid-end of summer.
Yep. So I'm trying to see if we missed anything. No, in down the road, what we're going to do, we're going to keep this Herb of the Week up thing going through this month. But I think in March, what we're going to do is set a schedule. We're still going to have our live show every Sunday night at 8. But we're going to start rotating topics a little bit. So that, one, because it takes me a long time to do the research for the Herbs of the Week. And as we move into spring, I'm going to have to start working outside.
And there's going to be all kinds of good stuff popping up that we want to talk about.
Yeah. So what we'll probably do is if we have 4 Saturdays in the month, we'll do a cooking topic week, maybe do a Q&A on that. So it'll be Mike. We'll do one that's gardening related, one chicken related, one foraging related, and the foraging related will include some of these herbs. About herbs, I might post these up there. And then as we focus on the Herb of the Week type topic day, we'll go through which ones I've posted up through the month. So it'll end up turning into almost like Herb of the Month, but we might cover more than one.
Where'd you go to college in Michigan? Or grow
Who is
up?
that?
Tiny Hilltop Forest.
Oh,
Food
cool.
Forest is new.
Oh, hello.
We grew up in Michigan, went to college in Michigan. I've lived in 4 cities, I think, in Michigan.
4 cities.
1, 2, 3.
Well, yeah,
4,
okay. If you're counting
yeah.
where we're at separate from college. Oh my gosh. Anyway.
I had residency in Niles, Kalamazoo, Ann Arbor, Mackinac Island,
Oh, right.
and now back Kalamazoo and west of Kalamazoo. So
Yeah.
4 to 5 areas.
We both grew up in Ann Arbor, did not know each other there. Both went to college in Kalamazoo, met there.
Well, we're outside of Kalamazoo.
We're outside Kalamazoo
We went
now.
to college in Kalamazoo, but not at WMU.
Yeah, we actually went to the neighboring college right next door, the little one.
Yeah, went to, so
Kalamazoo
we're at
College.
Kalamazoo College, but there's only 1,000, 1,200 people there.
Yeah.
But yep, no, well, it's right across the street. The cannon from the football game goes off all the time.
Oh, you can hear them like they're announcing directly
The
into
dorms
the
are right
dormers.
up the hill, so.
I skated for Western Michigan though. Western Michigan University. When I was going in freshman year, Western Michigan University was starting a synchronized skating team, and they weren't varsity yet.
I thought
so-
Aim High was in Kalamazoo. Oh, I didn't. Well, I guess we.
Yeah, we're all from Ann Arbor.
We're west of Kalamazoo, so
Yeah, so
get into Kalamazoo almost every day.
we should do a meetup. Jeez.
Yeah.
We should. I mean, with how many people are from close to us
Well, we're
here.
kind of leaving the meetup open to the hootenanny.
Yeah, that's
We
true.
don't want to step on anybody's toes
No.
or double up and spend
But-
extra time. But
But if you guys are interested in a foraging meetup, we may be able to get a group together and go
Kalamazoo
with
College's
hobbies.
cafeteria, I think, has been up and down through the years. It was okay when we were there, but I wouldn't say it was stellar. Now, I'm a chef at this point. I wasn't then. I know a little bit about who's running their food service now, but-
Brahms from South Haven. Oh my gosh.
Oh, well, you're not far.
Half-
We're a half hour, 40 minutes.
Yeah, 40 minutes from the lake. So oh my gosh, we have probably half the room is from almost
And
this area. of
1870s,
Michigan.
which just left, is south and west of us, I think. Or
No,
east?
they're east.
They're east
mid.
of us.
I want to say they're mid-state.
Okay, but
closer to the
they're
Pratt's?
no more than
I don't
an
know.
hour and a half. I think they're not
no.
that far.
No, but I want to say they're
Coco's
closer
in
to Pratt's.
Michigan.
Coco and Discovery, that's husband and wife. They're both in Michigan. And Finite World.
Yeah, that's the houses behind the gas stations behind the football field. Yeah.
Yep.
We walk through there all the time. Still drive through there.
Yep. I actually work downtown, so I drive by there like every day. And Valerie, hello. 13 miles south of Detroit, so we have a lot.
So you're right on the border.
Definitely. Well, not
Heading towards the border.
towards the border,
Heading
not
towards the
near
border.
the border.
Well, that's 30 minutes. Yeah, 30 miles.
Yeah. So yeah, got a lot of Michiganians in the room and some neighboring states in the room, and
We
some
don't
that
have
are
any
further.
Oopers, though. They don't like the trolls.
The Upers aren't here before though. For those of you guys not from Michigan,
Chicago's great.
Had used to be in Peoria, Illinois. Peoria, dude.
We like Chicago a lot. Just need to get over there sometime.
Yeah, we do. We haven't been back there since coming back from
Been
New York.
Too busy.
Oh my gosh. And we're like a couple hours away. It's not that far. Anyway.
Well, that would be an option. We would be possibly open. I am getting so busy with my business, but if we could plan, I end up working so hard on Friday nights, getting up so early Saturday and kind of recovering
Yeah.
that the end of Saturday, even Sunday is kind of rough, but you know we're not opposed to campfires and food and people coming out here. We've got enough space that within reason we can do pretty well.
You know the crazy thing is, we were talking about it with our
it's outside of Marshall. Yeah, you're in the general area for sure.
Yeah. Oh my
gosh. Coldwater, yeah. And then Marshall.
I get patients from Coldwater. They come. It's a little hike,
over
but
in
not
Marshall
far.
Now, so the other side, but that's still short commute.
Marshall too. Yeah, but no, we were talking about for your 20-year reunion that we might actually host on property for K College.
Maybe do a pig roast or something.
Maybe do a pig roast. But we should probably do a group here. We could do, you know what, if you guys are definitely interested in, I would say in the foraging thing, maybe we can have Nobby out here, invite everybody out, whoever can make it. It'd probably be a Saturday or Sunday, more likely a Sunday.
Probably a Sunday because market runs me through much of the day, and then
and her too.
And then get one recovering and cleaning up for market, and two getting. And she's at the market with us. Yeah. Well, not with us, but at the same market. And
have
then
a pasta packing party. Yeah. Anyone want to help us pack pasta? No.
Yeah, I'm gonna need some part-time transient labor soon if anybody's really close.
No, but no, if you guys are interested in that, we then dinner here at some point.
Do a mid-afternoon or type thing that would
eat off the property type thing, and we could probably set something like that up. In the summer, we don't want to overlap Hootenanny, so maybe in the fall.
I mean, we'd have to talk to them and just organize it to coordinate.
Yeah. Anyway, pig roast. Our school did an annual pig roast.
We don't have any pigs on property, but we're not opposed to cooking them on property.
No, if we have someone raise them, a farm, actually, if any of you guys raise pigs and we want to do this together, we could always hook up that way too. Anyway. Yeah, no, I absolutely.
20th college reunion, not high school, but yes.
Yeah, so, and mine would be the year after. So that's kind of scary. It has been 20 years since we graduated from college.
Yeah, I know, Coco, you're a few years, I don't know how old you are. I know you're a few years older than us, but.
Well, there you go. That's it. So. Anyway,
I don't know if I can get a work-study student. I can pay some small amounts, but I don't know if I qualify for work-study.
That's usually working.
I can say the starting up small businesses, which we do, would be more than useful to anybody. Not that we do any of it perfectly, but there would be lots of.
Wow, we cut out there for a second. We're back. Hopefully, you guys are still here, but we are going to say goodnight. We have a couple videos coming out this week. Be on the lookout for those, more winter-related stuff. And then we'll get the Salsa Verde video up, which I haven't done yet. Check out, if you're interested in foraging, we have that whole series on foraging, so check that out. And thank you, Finite World. If you think our video, the chicken's warm without a heat lamp, if you think it's good enough, please nominate us on White House on the Hills top 10 for the chicken.
And yes, Coco, Kahlua pig, not necessarily with pineapple, but like wrapped in leaves and buried in the ground and sort of steam roasted. It's something I've never done, but that's actually on my short list to dig a hole. I gotta find some equipment to dig a hole because that's a fairly big job in itself. But actually doing an in-ground pit roast versus a traditional barbecue from this area is something we would like to try, and I have enough resources. I think we can pull it off without causing too much damage to the pig. I don't care about the ground. That's cool.
Anyway, so for next week, I'm still deciding on which one will be. Maybe I'll do grape leaves next week.
I know there was a request for that.
Yeah, we had a request. I have a sticky note up on my computer here. We'll do grape leaves because I do have some pictures of that. We have wild grapevines on property, and we will focus on that next week. Okay, so good night, everyone. Don't forget, thumbs up on your way out. It helps the ratings on YouTube. That would be great. We'll talk to you guys next week at 8 time. Take care. Yes, it was fun. Thanks.
Good night.
Good night. Okay.